For life.
Hi everyone. Welcome to our August meeting of the Judge Foundry Board of Directors. We're all glad you're here to watch our open meeting. I don't have any other welcoming statement or any other intro statements, so I'm just going to dive right into our minutes for today, or into our agenda for today. First thing we have on our agenda is approval of our previous minutes. We do have the July 31st, 2024 board meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at that? Does anybody have any comments or updates that we need to make to those? Okay, great. Then we will move on from minutes to Joe with our membership update.
Yeah, I have our membership update for August. Since our last meeting in July, we've had 39 more members join as uncertified, up to 281, 15 more L1s, up to 360, 6 more L2s, up to 235, and 1 more L3, up to 25. Congratulations to folks getting new levels. No new L4s, no new L5s. Those are both the same at 10 and 19. That makes our total number of Judge Foundry subscribers at 930. That's 61 up from July.
Thanks, Joe. It's good to hear. Next up, we have John Bryan with the Treasurer's Report.
Yeah, so as of right now, we have approximately $28,000 in cash on hand minus liabilities. Revenue for last month was $4,281. That includes $3,700 in dues and $500 in merch. Expenses from last month total of $824. About half of that is strike processing fees. The rest for elections, email marketing, and finish out the last of the Canadian RCQ kit promotion expenses. Expenses look a little low this month. That's just because of some expenses being pushed to June or August, but it should level out, and we're at where we need to be. Our cash on hand is a little bit higher than it really is. There's a number of things we've approved that haven't actually been invoiced yet, and so in reality, then we have close to 20,000 cash on hand.
Thank you, John Bryan. We would normally now do our member Q&A. However, we did not have any questions submitted on the forum this month. So just as a reminder, if you do have questions for us to answer, please submit those to the forums. We usually open that a few days to a week before the board meeting monthly. So that brings us to our new business. We do have several resolutions on the slate today. I'm just going to start in with our first resolution, which is for Zoom subscription. I'm going to read this for everybody. Resolved that in order to host online meetings and virtual conferences, Judge Foundry requires a tool designed for communication and collaboration. The Judge Foundry wants to provide judges from across our service area the ability to attend and participate in our annual meeting without traveling to do so. Judge Foundry authorizes the expenditure of up to $900 for an annual Zoom Workplace and Zoom Webinar subscription to be renewed each year until otherwise resolved. Does anyone have any comments before we move to voting?
Just to give folks at home some context on this, it sounds a little high, but this is covering both the annual meeting and having a platform for online conferences throughout the year. We're going with the 500 seat option. That is the smallest number of seats for the webinars. It also makes sure that we reasonably expect no more than 500 people to attend the annual meeting virtually. So that's where this number comes from. It'll probably actually come in a little less than 900, but want to approve a little more just in case.
Thanks, John Bryan. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before we move to voting? Okay, in that case, I'm all in favor of Resolution 1 for Zoom subscriptions. Aye. So that passes 5. Great. Moving on to Resolution 2, which is approval of exam license agreement with Svenska Magic Judges. This one's pretty short. Resolved that the Judge Foundry Board of Directors ratifies the attached exam licensing agreement with Svenska Magic Judges. I'm not going to read the whole of that. But this is for context for everybody. This is similar to what we have in place with a couple of other organizations to exchange our to give them access to our exam content in exchange for a fee. Anybody have any comments or anything to add for this one?
Could you tell us more about Svenska Magic Judges, who they are, what areas they serve?
Yeah,
And I wasn't in this one, so I'm going to pass that to John Brian.
All right, I'll provide a little more context here. So Svenska Magic Judges is Magic Judges Sweden. They include the countries Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, and Norway. They are another fairly small program, but growing. We have the same agreement with them to license our exams for level 1, 2, and 3, as well as our practice quizzes with them. What we get out of this is they pay us a small licensing fee for every exam that someone passes. They also add more data to our update quizzes, which helps us better determine which update quizzes should get added to the regular exam pools, as well as providing us data on how those exams are performing. At this point, once this is signed, we will, I believe, be supporting a majority of the judge programs worldwide with our exams. We currently have license agreements with Finland and with South Africa.
Thank you, John Brian. Does anybody have any additional comments? Okay. With that, I move to voting for Resolution 2. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that is 5 in favor. Great. Resolution 2 passes as well. Moving to our third resolution. This is the extension of Judge Academy level transfer process. Big picture, this is extending the date that we will allow those transfers to happen through. It does not change when your certification with Judge Academy needed to change. So I'm going to read that resolution now. Resolved that a judge who was a member of Judge Academy in good standing with a level 1, level 2, or level 3 Magic the Gathering certification on October 13th, 2023 will be reclassified as a Judge Foundry member with the same numerical level upon request, provided that the individual is a member of Judge Foundry in good standing no later than September 30th, 2024. The Judge Academy level is numerically larger than the Judge Foundry member class, and the request is made no later than September 30th, 2024. Resolved that the Judge Foundry Board of Directors will update its documentation for example, on our website to reflect this new date, and resolved that the Board of Directors requests the Judge Apps team to update the Judge Foundry landing page on Judge Apps to reflect this new date. So unless anybody has any objections, I'm going to handle these 3 as one resolution. Does anybody have any comments? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Pierce.
I just want to add some additional context since I proposed this resolution. This is extending the deadline for a couple of reasons. One is that a few people sent in requests according to the deadline, but did not actually get reviewed until a few days into June. So it covers them cleanly. Second, due to personal issues that I was having, I was not able to pause the level transfer process on Judge Apps. This didn't affect very many people, but if somebody had already transferred their Judge Academy subscription into Judge Apps, they were still able to get a Judge Foundry transfer even after May 31st because that deadline was not being checked in that way. So this also covers people that were affected in that way, that saw something on the Judge Apps website that wasn't meant to be there from policy, but they didn't necessarily know that because they just joined the organization. And then finally, this also sets this to be the same deadline as the lapse judges process, which is a parallel process for people that have left judging but want to rejoin the community in a expedited fashion. And it just kind of makes sense to have those be the same date, and then they could be reviewed together in the future. So again, I wanted to apologize for the confusion and for the people that have been in this situation, and that's part of why this resolution is here.
And to be clear, and I want to make sure that I get this right, that we're not moving up the date by which you had to have taken your Judge Academy exam, as in people who took their exam after we announced are not eligible to transfer. It's only people who took their exam before we announced.
Exactly. That's remaining the same. Yeah, it's just that we're extending the window for people to notify us that, hey, I had this active certification on October 13th, 2023, and I would like to transfer that level into Judge Foundry.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It also lets us do a last call here as a reminder for anybody that if they have not transferred their level over and they would like to, this is a last opportunity if this is approved. Okay. Does anybody have any other comments? Okay. Then I will move to voting for Resolution 3, the extension of Judge Academy level transfer process. All in favor? Okay. I have 4 in favor. All opposed? Okay. We have none opposed. 1 abstain. Moving to Resolution 4. Which is domain names. Resolved that Judge Foundry owns several domain names that point to its website, which comes up for annual renewal. The board of directors authorize up to $11 per year for renewal of each domain name to be renewed each year until otherwise authorized. I think that one's pretty straightforward. We just want to keep paying for our domains. Does anybody have any other comments? Okay. All in favor of Resolution 4? Okay. It passes 5 in favor. I think I saw some messages about a potential that we were going to be adding a resolution. Is that going to happen? I didn't finish following.
We don't have one prepared, no.
Do we need to just add
Do we
it?
need to do that? Like,
If we're going to spend money, we need to make a resolution, and especially
Right.
if this is for money that was already spent without a resolution, which we should not be doing. I would like to add it to the meeting if you can. Otherwise, we can do it offline, but I think for the sake of transparency, it'd be better, especially given this is money that's already
Right.
spent.
Right.
Yeah, so for everybody, what we're discussing is the money is authorizing the use of money to organize the annual meeting and conference, associated conference. And so we want to just make sure that we've correctly authorized the budget for that.
So I believe we approved money in the conferences project and probably in the elections project as well. That doesn't mean it was specifically earmarked for this. So
Yeah,
my only
notably for
question
venue
is,
rental. Yeah.
is there a way, and maybe Matt can answer this question, that we can say, hey, we're approving this amount, but like either that supersedes any previous approval, or like so we aren't accidentally approving the same thing twice.
My question is, have we actually approved budget for those? We discussed what the budget was, but I didn't think we had actually specifically voted or passed a resolution to spend that money.
I don't recall at any board meeting any motions that have been adopted regarding budget for annual meeting. If you've done anything with votes outside of a meeting, that I don't have visibility into, but nothing's happened in a meeting.
It's like, there's nothing to my recollection. I did miss a meeting or two, but
Yeah, there was nothing in my recollection either.
Do we have a rough idea of what the budget should be for the meeting?
So the total budget we have allocated is $2,000, which includes the election. There's a separate line item that covers the election for RAs.
Okay, so that would be for the election.
Well, that's the meeting plus election, yeah.
Oh, that's meeting plus election. All right. I saw somewhere that there would be other expenses like the room rental, professional services, and maybe a couple other things. Do we have a budget for that, or is that included in
Yeah,
that?
that's what I'm looking to make sure gets covered, which is
Yeah, 2,000 is the total we've budgeted for expenses related to the annual meeting. We have there's some room that we're under budget on conferences, and we can move some money over, but I do want to, be cognizant of how much we're spending here.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know, Matt, how much the actual proposed amount from elections is for the conference cost?
I do not have that information. No.
That's gonna be $100.
Okay, then if 2,000 is plenty within, like, if I go above 1,500 for this conference, it's probably too much.
Can we resolve to allow them to spend up to that 2,000, but combined between the two, and if more, up to, again, don't only spend what we need to spend, but resolve that we can spend up to that 2,000 for the annual meeting, combined between conference and election. And then if they need more, they can come back and discuss that.
That would be fine by me.
Matt's typing me some words here, so I'll read those ones. Thank you, Matt.
I did go and check the conference's charter allocates money as or permits the conference's project to spend money as allocated by the board, which I think allows us to avoid having to make a resolution every time. But I don't know if that was intended to cover this.
I think it's helpful to vote on resolution. So since we have some idea of how much the venue will cost, for example, and other things, it also, I think, is nice for transparency so that members know approximately how much is being spent on the annual meeting.
I also have a message from Dan about this. He says that elections needs to know whether the annual meeting is one ballot or multiple motions in order to set a budget for it. If it's a single ballot, then it's $99. If it's multiple motions, it is $999. I believe that we should probably try to make this one ballot if possible.
It sounds like that's something we should discuss. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, that's probably something we should discuss as far as the planning of the meeting goes, and we haven't really gotten into those discussions yet. So I would suggest that this motion, because this is the last opportunity for the board to adopt anything before the meeting, I would suggest that we use the more expensive value and then authorize expenses based on that. And if we decide to go with the cheaper option, then we're still covered.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess the question then I have is, with the $999 value, Rob, does $1,000 keep us? If we stay with the 2,000, that gives you $1,000 for the other portion of the meeting.
I would rather have a little bit. I would rather have a little bit more overhead than that. 12 or 1,500 is fine, but I would like just a little bit of space in case I need to get anything else done for it.
John Bryan, given that, are we comfortable with making this like a resolution for like 2,300?
Yeah, I'll update the budget and take some money out of other conferences.
Okay, and hopefully we don't need it from the perspective of we can get the ballot down to the $99 option, but depending on what's needed. Okay. I move to authorize that the treasurer disperse up to a total of $2,300 for the annual meeting expenses, including the election, to be done during the meeting. Do I need somebody to second that?
No.
Okay. Then does anybody have any more discussion they would like to do on that before we move to voting? Okay. In that case, all in favor? Okay, that passes with a vote with 5 in favor. Okay, that's all the resolutions I had. Does anybody have anything else here before we move on to announcements? Okay, great. Then we'll start announcements with Rob.
So I just want to remind talking about the annual member meeting, please head to the Judge Apps event and sign up for it. You should be able to see it as a normal searchable Judge Apps event, and we've posted announcements as well for Judge Foundry announcements. We really, really want to try to track who is planning to be there, and we really want to encourage everybody to be there as much as possible. We want to try to make sure a quorum happens so that way we can conduct business effectively, and we want to get everybody engaged with the actual running of the organization. So, and we would love if you could show up in person. We know that that's just, we have a strong online option for a reason though. So.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. And seconded, please, yeah, let us know if you're going to attend and how you're going to attend. John Bryant.
Yes. Sorry, I had two things going here once. Yeah, so the Canadian RCQ kits are in the wild. I've confirmed that people have been seeing their flyers, postcards in their local stores, and may even be wearing their hats the next time you see them. Canadian judges, at this point, we'd like to know from you what's working. Are you working more RCQs? Are you hearing from more TOs? Are TOs happy to see this? In order to figure out if we want to do this in the future and what should change, we need to hear from you. So please talk to your regional advocates. That is Dom in the East and Toby in the West, and talk to them about what you're seeing with your RCQs. This is a program we'd like to do again if it's successful, and if it's not, we'd like to do something else. So talk to us about your RCQ experience, Canadians.
Thanks, John Bryan. I think Bears had something.
Yep. Just a reminder that anyone, including you, can apply to host a judge conference. We would love to see more judge conferences happening. This is a rolling application. You can have a judge conference be a small gathering at your local store. You could have it be a larger regional gathering. We're very excited for what the community cooks up here. Please also feel free to reach out to your regional advocate or your area communicators to see if they have any thoughts, or if you'd like to be the conference person for your region. That's really up to the different regions and the RAs. But as the board and on behalf of the conferences project, we're just really trying to encourage conferences and gatherings to happen. We've set aside some funds for some cool giveaways and other incentives to promote attendance as well. And it's just a great opportunity to meet judges, to certify judges, to talk about advancement, and of course to share knowledge and all that great mentorship. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us or to Ward, the conferences lead, and we look forward to seeing your application very soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Bears. And Rob.
I can't hear you, Rob.
I muted myself instead of unmuting myself. So I want to update on the August merch. It's all ordered. It is all either in the mail or at my place right now. Some of it has arrived, some of it's due to arrive tomorrow. And depending on what my timeline looks like on Friday, my work is closed Friday, so I'm going to try to get it packed and shipped on Friday. And it will either go out Friday or Tuesday, depending on the packing time, because Monday is Labor Day. So I won't be able to mail it Monday, obviously. So it will be going out either Friday or Tuesday, whichever of the days is available.
Thanks, Rob. I have another announcement from John Bryan.
Yeah, so for level 2+ judges, the update quizzes for Bloomborough are live. These will remain open until September 24th, so you've got less than a month to take your quizzes. Shortly after that, of course, much of the quiz moves to the practice pools where all judges can take them. But a reminder for level 2+ judges, you are required as part of your maintenance to take some quizzes. So don't wait till the last minute to take your Bloomberg quizzes today.
Thanks, John Bryan. Joe, did you have something to add? I saw a name pop up and then disappear. Okay, great. Then does anybody have any last thoughts before we sign off for the day? Okay, in that case, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for supporting Judge Foundry Organization. I hope you have a good evening.
Yeah, I motion to adjourn.
I seconded. Or all in favor? Okay. Then we are adjourning. I forget that I need to do that.